We had the amazing opportunity to participate in a closed technical playtest for Sea of Remnants, and we are allowed to share our first impressions with you. So should you be excited about Sea of Remnants? We wouldn't even know how not to be excited after playing for about 8 hours each. But see for yourselves. And just as a disclaimer, we were kindly invited by NetEase to participate in this test. But opinions are our own, and this video is not sponsored. Sea of Remnants is an upcoming ocean adventure RPG developed by Joker Studios, who you might know from the very successful mobile game Identity V. Sea of Remnants is currently still in closed technical playtesting and set to release globally next year. It features a turn-based combat system that feels familiar if you have played games like Baldur's Gate 3 or Honkai Star Rail before. Yet it brings a lot of new, unique combat features to the table. But more on that later. There is a city hub called Orbtopia that offers a lot of different activities and mini-games, various traders and secrets to uncover. Leaving the harbor on your ship brings you to the open seas, where you can freely navigate, meet dangerous sea creatures and valuable treasure. And any island you come across, you may explore on an expedition. The most interesting thing is that your actions will influence the game world. As an example, we did beat some monsters on an uninhabited island. And on our return, some pirate NPCs had built a whole little settlement there. It might sound like a tiny detail, but it feels really immersive. Sea of Remnants is going to have both co-op and MMO features, but unfortunately we do not yet have any details. For more info on the game and our speculation on what might be coming, we link our overview video down below in the description box. But enough of the facts, let's now dive into our early game experience. In Sea of Remnants, our character is a puppet folk sailor who had lost their memory, drifting across unknown tranquil seas in what feels like a dream. We wake up in the office of Sigmund, with no memory of who we are or what has happened to us. With our body being quite damaged, we can choose a new one and create our character, choosing a wood color, hair, face and clothing. There were already so many options to choose from and a lot of customization. Female body types will be added later, so my Lumi is quite a Lumo for now. After leaving the office, we find ourselves in Orbtopia, the game's bustling hub, with shops and NPCs to interact with. We loved how detailed the city looks, with no NPC looking the same. The wind swaying the textiles and palm leaves. We make our way to the tavern and get back our lockbox, a suitcase full of what seems to belong to us. But before we can even have a look at our belongings, hoping to find some clues on who we are, we get involved in a full-fledged bar fight. All thanks to a charming blonde pirate. It's time we tried out the game's turn-based combat for the first time. Having played a lot of other turn-based games before, including Baldur's Gate 3, Honkai Star Rail and Clair Obscur, we immediately felt right at home with the combat. It is real turn-based without reactive elements like in Expedition 33, so we can take our time to choose our strategy. Our characters have a special crew-based ability that has a cooldown, as well as combat skills without cooldown. Later, we will be getting even more skills on top of these, including unique ultimate abilities. Also, enemies will have weaknesses and stances that, if broken, deal extra damage. We get out of the pub thanks to the blonde pirate's convincing argument and meet her back at the beach. We learn how to cook delicious skewers and finally have a chance to have a look at our logbox. But the clues do not add up yet. We choose a name and together with our new friend and first crew member, RS, we set out to learn more about our past. We sail the oceans to land on a secret island and from here get to exploring. This is the earliest gameplay experience, about 30 minutes into the game, and we loved just how immersed and invested we had already been until now. The game design is so well done and paced, it feels like you are part of a movie. The characters, especially RS, are so well written, animated and voiced, with their strong facial expressions and gestures. It is just so immersive. The last time we felt so involved in a game world right from the start must have been Cyberpunk 2077. We think that says a lot. Another highlight was the dialogue. It feels natural, funny, and never bloated, just to carve out a bit more of game time, unlike other games that will hold you up with unnecessary details. You really want to be part of this game world and learn more. You want to sit by the fire and cook more skewers. You want to explore behind the waterfalls. Yup, we found treasure. And you want to try and beat the high score in the parrot minigame, or drink others under the table in the pub. That's the immersion level we are talking about here. But let's now move on to our highlights in Sea of Remnants, what we loved and what may need some improvements. A huge highlight for me, although you might say this is a bit obvious, are the character designs. The sailors are not only pretty, they follow what I would call RPG principles. Like those are the kind of characters you would see on a tabletop D&D session. Jasmine, for example, is a tailor, so she fights with a giant pair of scissors and wears a dress made of measuring tape. I am eager to see more characters later on. We currently don't know exactly how you will acquire new characters, as this is still in development. During the playtest, we got to play around with 6 characters, including the main protagonist. Since these characters come with different rarity, we speculate that there might be a gacha system in the future, alongside some story unlocks, as we also got the charming pirate lady RS into our roster early on. As far as we know, the monetization plan is not yet settled though, so again, this is just our speculation.
The game has a very strong tendency to RPG elements, and I absolutely love that. Every character has a backstory and belongs to one of 6 different main classes called Moniker. These can get further developed by unlocking and choosing paths while leveling up. Jasmine, for example, belongs to the Cutthroat class, which we then could further develop into either Reef Queen or Scented Witch, although these names are probably subject to change. Different classes bring different playstyles, which can be further altered with passive abilities along the way. You constantly need to pick from multiple possibilities and shape your character. But that's not all. Aside from classes, the characters also have tons of other systems to tend to. So many in fact that we won't bore you with the lengthy list of details, but rather give you a comparison instead. Let's say you have a character in a game like Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail or Tower of Fantasy. Leveled to the cap, equipped with their best in slot equipment, skills and talents maxed out. Now you're pretty much done. No variety, nothing to choose from, just one straight path to success. Sea of Remnant goes a completely different route and feels much more like an RPG here. You develop your characters by using them. They level up when they fight, progress deeper when being utilized, and can be fine-tuned along the way however you desire. You get to use and play your character as soon as you get them. You also don't farm for specific equipment in a set domain or dungeon, but get loot from enemies and chests in the world. Classic RPG elements that really set the game apart.
I don't know about you, but I'm not always able to sit down and listen to long-winded dialogues in games, especially after a long day at work. But in Sea of Remnants, I was glued to the story. It was emotional and mysterious, which really got me interested to learn more. But also funny, with surprising twists here and there, most of the time immediately throwing you into action instead of sending you on fetch quests. The storytelling is great.
The world is huge and can be explored freely in a relatively realistic way. Compared to other exploration titles, there are currently no gliders, grappling hooks or mechanics that let you climb completely vertical walls like a mountain goat. But your character can jump, swim and leap down ledges, all in a human-like fashion. So no leaps from 5-story buildings, swimming costs stamina even in stationary, and climbing only works where you would be able to actually pull yourself up. We intentionally turned a blind eye on shooting yourself with a cannon for traversal here, because that's obviously realistic pirate life. What might sound limiting is in fact really refreshing. It gives the world a more believable tone and a stronger setting. The environment doesn't just exist for the sole purpose of being there, but feels inviting, handcrafted and alive. People sitting around waiting for you to chat or play with them. Stores with actually useful items to buy from, and so many diverse and fun little details in the first few hours that we were truly amazed.
And another thing I loved was the collection and completionist aspect of the game. Different progression systems tied to exploration and discovery, in turn rewarding you with some goodies. I love these kinds of things. as it gives some extra incentive to pay closer attention to the game world and interact with it, with more rewards on top. Picking all flowers, visiting vista points, or cooking every meal of over 100 once available. That's something I enjoy in games.
From what we have seen so far, the sailing itself is a huge part of the game with a lot of depth. You can have different vessels, each with their own unique abilities, assign crew members to different positions on board, and equip those positions with items like cannons, which can be upgraded as well, and so on. As you sail, you will encounter battles with enemies ranging from small rowboats to massive boss creatures. And those battles are fought by yours truly, navigating void zones, checking the environment, managing cooldowns, watching your ship health, and of course, shooting your opponents into their watery grave. What impressed us the most was the seamless transition between the boat's perspective and the third-person view. You can even set your ship to autopilot, leave the helm, and stroll around the deck while it navigates to your next destination. How cool is that?
Another thing I loved were the mini-games and puzzles scattered around the world. There are the more obvious ones, mainly in Optopia itself, where you can challenge others to a match of mahjong or goose chess, but also more hidden secrets on the expeditions, like coming across a locked cage with a clue on where the key might be. It was just so inviting to explore everything aside from the main story quest, especially since you can also find some treasure chests around.
The combat in this game is turn-based and another one of the highlights. It offers space for up to 3 characters, with a 4th character slot available later on. Aside from traditional turn-based mechanics, there is also a luck-based system to enhance your skills, and a chance system for extra turns called rogueluck. On top of that, you can expect the depth and intricacy which we encountered throughout the game, with characters interacting with each other and the classic RPG elements coming into play again, like healing spells, taunting, buffs, equipment effects, and so much more. But worry not if that sounds too complicated at first. There is no overly complicated buzzword calling at all. Every effect is explained with either a tutorial or even info text in the skills themselves. And if you want to relax and just enjoy the show, that's possible as well, as the combat can be automated and sped up. The autoplay is not yet perfect, but it gets the job done. And we are very certain that this will be fine-tuned until the final release, although battling bosses manually is more fun anyways.
We looked left and right for cons, but honestly, we couldn't find anything negative at this point. Maybe that the hamster does not get enough screen time. We had already played full releases that were far less polished than this playtest. And if this build we played is the groundwork for what's ahead to be added in the future, before the full launch next year, we can confidently say that this game offers a wonderful experience for all players. So, should you be excited for Sea of Remnants? We say definitely. If you had seen our previous video about the game, you know that we were looking forward to it, even after just watching some trailers. But after getting our hands on the game ourselves, we are so excited for Sea of Remnants to launch and for you guys to experience this. We couldn't stop playing the test version, and we cannot wait to return to Orktopia in the future. Thank you again to NetEase for this wonderful opportunity of playtesting the game. We were so excited about. But for now, we wish you lots of fun out there in co-op with your favorite pirates, people, and we will see you again soon. Maybe even in Orktopia.